Belize, the whole country.
How far north is the whole Yucatan Peninsula?
After an incredible 3 days exploring and enjoying Lake Atitlan, from stunning volcano views to cosplaying as rich people in our super fancy Airbnb, complete with an infinity pool and private dock, visiting adorable lakeside towns, we can't recommend visiting Lake Atitlan enough. Check out the full video in this Guatemala series. But now we're off to Tikal National Park. To get there, we arranged private transport back to Guatemala City, taking a quick 1-hour flight to the city of Flores, which is the gateway to Tikal. Both Avianca and a local airline called TAG offer flights, but we chose Avianca after reading that TAG has frequent delays and cancellations, and with just 30 hours total, we couldn't risk it. We arranged transport through our hotel, the Jungle Lodge, which we chose for its location inside the park itself. The ride from Flores to Tikal takes about an hour and a half, so if booking a sunrise tour, know that it means a 2:30 a.m. pickup from Flores. If staying in the park, that means sleeping in until 4 a.m. Lucky us. After checking in and dropping off our luggage, we hurried to eat dinner at the on-site restaurant before heading to bed after a long travel day.
How far north is the whole Yucatan Peninsula? The states of Yucatan and Mexico, also Quintana Roo, also Campeche, part of the Tabasco, all the states of Mexico called Chiapas, and then Guatemala, the whole country, Belize, the whole country, and the very west of Honduras and the very west of El Salvador, that's the Mayan country. In square kilometers is 250,000 square kilometers.
After making our way through the darkness of the jungle with just the light of our cell phones, it was absolutely incredible to experience the sounds of the jungle gradually coming to life with sunrise. It's often foggy, but that just added to the experience. Enjoying a traditional Guatemalan champurrada, round cookie, and tayuyo, corn tortilla with refried beans inside, all from atop Temple 4 overlooking the jungle canopy.
Original map of Tikal done in 1920. That map documented 4,000 buildings. So in 2018, they had already 15% uncovered of the known monuments. But that technology, LiDAR, is really game-changing in archaeology. So they found 6,000 additional buildings. So that's why now they only have 7% of the city being uncovered. See the mask. People say this mask looks like Optimus Prime in Transformers. But that ledge, all of it was full of carvings, like shapes of gods mostly.
Almost as impressive as the Mayan sites and temples is the diversity of animals and wildlife you can see up close across Tikal. Just be careful not to get too close, of course, because the monkeys are known to throw everything, including their own feces.
That's a girl.
right, guys, welcome back to our channel, Live by Travel, and we're here with Marlon from Gem Trips, who woke up with us this morning to do the sunrise tour. And so now we're here, now that I'm finally awake, we're seeing the main Central Plaza. And Marlon was telling us, kind of giving us the context on the three temples here. In Mayan culture, there's always triangles, right?
That's right.
Three temples, although this one collapsed, I think you said in 1962.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the guy with all of the answers. You have to come on this tour.
Thank you very much.
And then here was the Royal Palace, which we'll show you in a minute. And you said there were up to 250 rooms here?
That's correct.
Anything else people must know about this plaza specifically?
Well, that this is the very heart of Tikal. From here, in a radius of 1 mile, they found 4,000 buildings. And then from here, in a 7-mile radius, they found 10,000 buildings. So it's incredible the amount of buildings that they found. So from these amount of buildings, they know that there were at least 200,000 inhabitants in Tikal. So the city center is right here with Temple of the Great Jaguar that we have right there. This was built in 701 AD, and this was the burial for the greatest king of Tikal. He was found under the temple with 16.5 pounds of jade.
Oh, wow.
This was mostly a necklace, and there were bracelets, and there were like belts made of jade. So that's a really great treasure they found under temple number 1. The name of the temple is Temple of the Great Jaguar because inside that room you see up there, they found a piece of wood in very perfect shape. The carvings on the wood were so well preserved. So this carving shows the king sitting, and then there was a huge jaguar like protecting the king. That's why they name it Temple of the Great Jaguar. So this ruler built a temple for his wife, which is the temple facing the other temple, and that's numbered as temple number 2. The name of the temple is Temple of the Masks because they found a few faces of the gods carved right there, but they know the wife of the king is buried under the temple right here. So there's like a love story here. People call it the Taj Mahal of the Mayans because of the love story behind these temples. So this is from 711 AD. And they know the specific dates. You see 701, 711, because these are actual inscriptions that they found on the buildings with the actual date in the Mayan calendar. Now, the other section we see behind me over there, that's the North Acropolis. That's like the cemetery of the gods. I mean, the cemetery of the kings. They found 23 rulers buried right there. Sometimes I confuse Mayan king and god because they consider the kings like half god, half human. They consider them like humans in transition to become gods. Okay. So that's why they build like temples to bury the kings, because they consider them like half god, half human. So the first 23 rulers of Tikal were found in that section right there, the North Acropolis. They compare that section like a Russian nesting doll because they also found 23 constructions, one on top of the other. So when they did excavations, they found like earlier versions and earlier versions of the structure. So 23 layers of construction in the North Acropolis there. So the main temple in the center of the Acropolis that collapsed in 1962, that one, that used to be like the North Temple of the Triangle I was talking about. So like in the Mayan mythology, they believe in 3 temples. One in the north, one in the east, one in the west. And they got inspiration in Orion for that. So all the Mayan plazas from the pre-classic and the classic period have the same pattern. They call it the triadic pattern. So that's what we used to see right here.
Okay. All right. And that, my friends, is why you need a guide. And we will drop his information in the description. But that is why coming to these places is wonderful. Taking pictures is also wonderful. But coming here and actually learning this and retaining some of it, hopefully, is why you need a guide and why it's so much more enjoyable when you do have a guide.
So thank you to Marlon. He's going to take us to the next spot, and we're excited to show you what's next.
Very good.
All right, we're here in Marlon's favorite place in all of Tikal.
Yes.
So it's the Seven Temples Plaza. He's going to share a little bit about it with all of us.
Yeah, this Seven Temples Plaza is the first complex that this city built for entertainment. This is for fun, and this represents how wealthy the city was at that point. There were 7 temples on this side over here. There were 3 palaces on the other side right there, and there were 3 ball courts on that side right there. And that makes it unique. 3 ball courts together in Mesoamerica. They never found 3 together like that. So this was built by 750, and this was also built by the wealthiest king of Tikal, the same who built the tallest temple.
Awesome. And so the courts are under these mounds here, so there haven't been, and they may not be, excavated. And Marlon was telling us that essentially the archaeologists uncover now the style of doing so is to uncover like 25%, because when it's under the earth, it's better preserved. So you'll see a difference between some of the temples and pyramids being fully uncovered, which would have been maybe in the 1950s and 60s, and then less so now as they're doing more like restoration. And that's really to preserve these cultural sites.
By far one of our favorite spots was Temple Viewpoint, a panoramic viewing platform that allows you to see over the canopy of the jungle with some of the tallest temples sticking out from the canopy line. This gives you a sense of how the dense jungle covered thousands of Mayan structures, leaving this site undiscovered for so many years. On our way out, we stopped by a beautiful giant ceiba tree, sacred to the Maya as it represents life, strength, and the link between worlds.
Viator. We were originally going to be 3, but one of our friends had to go home early, so we ended up having, I think it was maybe $300 for a private tour. I think you would have just as much of an amazing time in a small group of 10. We would have done that if it was if the circumstances were different. So either option works great. We'll definitely drop the link in the description.
Yeah, and then we have a great lunch in a Jaguar and hotel.
Restaurant and hotel.
And now we're gonna go back to the hotel and pick up our bags, and then Matthew?
And then we don't fly out till 8 p.m. So we are going to get a ride to our hotel, which is the Jungle Lodge sister hotel in Flores, which is actually quite convenient because then we can leave our bags there and go around and explore for 3 or 4 hours before we catch our flight. So all in all, it worked out. We have transport, which was, I think, $14 each way per person, which is a pretty good deal because it's about an hour and 20 minutes. So, and they have a nice shuttle here from the Jungle Lodge Hotel back to Flores. So yeah, $28 each round trip. Our lunch was great on the tour, which was included.
A lot of option.
And now,
Yeah, with that, let's head to Flores, right, Matthew?
yeah, let's go check out Flores for a couple hours before we fly back to Guatemala City. And then on to Antigua again.
See you guys in Flores.
With just 4 to 5 hours, we spent most of our time enjoying the walkable streets of this charming, colorful island town with roots that go back centuries, situated right in the heart of Lake Piten Itza. You can see the Cathedral of Flores, a little historic gem that's watched over the town for generations, and walk along the water which at high tide covers some of the streets. We ended with a late afternoon drink and lunch by the water, watching the boats go by before grabbing a quick tuk-tuk to the airport, which is just over the bridge on the mainland. Thank you so much for watching this video and our Guatemala series, and make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and come along for the next adventure with Live by Travel.